Hello. After my last video where I sang about drawing and stuff, I've been told not to sing. So today I want to welcome you in a very serious tone to John Talks About Stuff but Doesn't Draw as Much. So I want to talk to you about building turning mechanics in a client. And so one of the skills we define on our courses is the skill of turning or rapid change of direction. So the skill of swinging a club, swinging a golf club, swinging a bat, throwing a ball, kicking a ball, changing direction rapidly, all come down to a driver of the pelvis to explode the body into a direction. And if you get that, well, you get the rest of the body elongating so it can shorten that pace, and you rely less on the mental aspect of trying to produce power and more on this reactive motion. Then you end up with a quality movement. So here we've got Jarrett again, because he was the guy who just filmed 500 exercises with me. And we've built an exercise to improve turning. And so the idea is that I've tried to get the body to naturally ping a hip left and right, so that we can get him to move really well. So I did say I wouldn't draw, but there probably is going to be a little bit of drawing. So the idea here is that we use motion in the arms to try and drive the abdominals with the pelvis to give us the turn that we want. So if we just run through the motion quick, you'll see the pelvis drives the initial motion, but we turn the arms the opposite direction, look. And that causes a lateral flexion to the right, while the pelvis travels to the right. So you start to get a lengthening here, and you start to get a lengthening here. And what we want is we want the pelvis to go in, and then we want the pelvis to ping out. And we want that to kind of drive the motion. So you can see we've got that on the way in, and then we see that we start to lift and come out on the way out. And so it's a short, sharp motion that I'm after. It's from here to there. Now, to get the pelvis to move, a good way of doing that is to drive things from the foot. So if we look at the foot and ankle, then what happens here is we drop in, and then there's kind of a kick from the ankle. So we drop in with the pelvis. There's a kick from both feet, but mainly the right, and that pushes the pelvis through, and it's that pelvis coming through that drives the motion. Now in a full turn, then what you'd see then an acceleration off from that point. So this power production here will be far more significant than it is in this exercise, and that would drive our client away. And we can see it the other side too, and that's really what we're going for. Now, having tension in the upper body is great because it allows the pelvis to push through. Having tension in the upper body that also produces power is even better. And so rotating the hands here, the idea is that it works. If you've come across our courses before, you know we call the point from one side of the shoulder to the other, we call it the pelvis. And by turning this, what we're doing is we're effectively turning this lever, the pelvis. And when you do that, that's what causes the lengthening here and the shortening here. And so the response to that will be that this shortens and this shortens almost at the same time. And that reaction together will ping the pelvis this way, and it's the ping of the pelvis that way which will accelerate the motion. Now that tied together with this kick from the floor gives you a ridiculous amount of power, and that's what you need to get that quick turn. Now in this exercise, I'm just trying to get the sequencing to get that turn to happen, and that's all I'm after, and so that's why we designed this. So we're looking, just to review, we're looking for the pelvis to lead the motion, we're looking for the core to assist the motion, and we're looking for the foot and ankle to kick the motion off. And so if we get that in our sequence, then we've got the starts of a great turn, and that's what we're looking for. If we were looking at performance in this scenario, then the first thing we look for in performance would be the ability to sequence. And then the second thing we would look for in this performance would be the ability to do this under a shortened range of motion. Unless, of course, they'll play in a sport like, say, tennis or a racket sport, where they wanted an increased range of motion so they could then reach their arm out to hit the ball. I hope you enjoyed this slightly more serious version of John talks about stuff but doesn't draw as much and isn't singing. Until next time, please subscribe. It's below on YouTube. Hit like if you're on Facebook. Do nice things for me. No rant on this. I'll catch you later. Thank you.